Good evening and welcome to another learning journey. We're a part of our Lessons Learned. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we are geared to help the loved ones of those recently arrested and those incarcerated. So we're here today. Lee, welcome.
Hey there. So happy to be here. It's a beautiful
Oh,
day here, and I know it's a lovely day there too. And so happy to be here this evening with Lashanna. She's
Hello,
got so much
everyone.
to tell us about her
yes.
journey, and it is just a pleasure to be able to be here while she shares it.
Yes. So, welcome, Lashanna Cody. We welcome you to our platform today. You've got an awesome story, and you're on a great journey that God has ordered your footsteps on. And we're so
Amen.
happy to have you today. And without further delay, we welcome you and we want you to go ahead and tell us about your 15 years being, we hate to say incarcerated, so we're going to put justice impacted. You were impacted by the
Mhm.
justice system. So just tell us about a little bit about your story.
Okay. Yes, I am just as impacted. But I can absolutely assure you that it was incarceration.
Yes.
13 continuous years of
Wow.
incarceration. And I am absolutely just as impacted. But my name is Lashanna Cody. As you just heard, I've served 13 years in prison here in Florida. Um, I went to prison. I was actually received a 15-year prison sentence for my role in an armed robbery that ended with a man losing his life. Um, it was a very long time, but in the greater retrospect, it wasn't. You could never put an amount on that because no matter how long I had to be in there, it was more than the victim had. So that is how I looked at it from when I didn't even know what I was going to get, when it was not even anything, any offers or anything. I just knew that no matter what I did, it was never going to be more than what the victim had.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Who, looking back, we hate to look back, but looking back, what do you understand now about yourself and circumstances that you didn't understand then? Is there anything that sticks out in particular about yourself and circumstances? Such as,
Yeah,
you may not have done the actual crime, but if you were there, then you got the same charges and things like that.
absolutely. So yes, I drove the car, the getaway car.
Okay.
Um, and and it didn't matter because
Yes.
we were all the same.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so, to any young kids out here listening, anybody who feel like they have no other choice but to go and commit a crime, remember this: it doesn't matter your part in it. You're all the same because
Yes.
prison is a business, and
Yes.
they're going to get the most money for their investments. And so
Hmm.
that's why the laws are as such where we're doing the rest of our lives in prison for things that somebody else may have actually pulled the trigger for.
Exactly. And that we understand very well, don't we, Lee?
Yes, we do. And thank you so much, Yashana, for saying that. That's so important.
Yes.
And I hope everyone can get that message that you just voiced to us, regardless of your part. If you were
Hmm.
there,
Hmm.
you're
Yes,
held accountable for it too. As Lynn and I both know,
yes.
here in South Carolina, they do have hand of one, hand of all.
Hmm.
So you'll end up
Hmm.
taking the same charges, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes, and that's hard, Lashana. Let me ask you another question. The reality of your years in prison, what was the hardest part of spending all of that time in prison?
The hardest part for me the entire time was me being without my children
Yes.
and worrying and wondering what was happening to my children without me there to take care of them and to protect them. That was my constant prayer, is that that Lord, you just let me survive this to go home and be with my kids. That was always my prayer.
Yes. Another question I want to ask you, when you were arrested, the time before you were sentenced, what was that like? Was a bail, were you held without bail, or I'm gonna let you tell that
I
story.
had I didn't have a bond. We thought that I was going to get one because of my role. I had a paid attorney. Uh, and I was confident in, oh, we're going to get you a bond. But I tell you what, nobody can't guarantee you that. Not even the highest paid lawyer. And I had a very high paid lawyer. Um, and I just went into court that day, just knowing that, I'm getting out of jail today.
Hmm.
The plan was, we're going to turn myself in. I surrendered myself to the jail with my attorney, and then I was going to have a bond hearing in the next 2 days, and I would get out. I didn't get out. I turned myself in, and I didn't get out until 13 years later.
Mm.
So
Mm, mm,
going in
mm.
court and they denied bond, that was my first, like, like, oh my God, this is real. I'm not getting out of here. And so that's what that was.
Wow,
Hmm.
that was so hard, Lashana. Tell me about your support. Did you have any family support? What was that like?
Um, my biggest supporter was a woman that God sent to me, because He knew what my path was going to be, me and my kids' path. Um, and she was my biggest supporter. I call her my God mom, because God definitely sent her to us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, that's for another story. My brothers came to see me more than outside of my God mom bringing my kids every 2 weeks, the
Hmm.
entire time that I was incarcerated.
Wow,
Um, yeah, yeah.
what a
She
blessing! What
support.
a blessing!
Couldn't have did it without her. Couldn't
Mm.
have did it without her. I probably wouldn't even be here talking to y'all right now if I didn't have that
Mm.
support. But
Yes.
she made sure that me and my kids stayed as bonded as possible. Oh, she did. Um, but then my brothers would come and see me. I may have saw my sisters or my mom like one or two times, but
Mhm.
she was my biggest support. You know.
Okay, that's really something. So, were you at Lowell?
I
Lowell,
was.
yeah,
Whew,
that's the
I
women's
was.
prison. They have what, over 3,000 women there, and
It's the
people always
largest
look
women's
at,
prison.
yes,
Mm.
people look at the men being incarcerated, but the women go through so much more. I feel, because mother being taken away from your kids like that is such a detachment, and an emotional, detachment for you. What was that like for you, Lashana?
It was very hard.
Hmm.
It was extremely hard. There were moments I literally felt like I was not going to be able to breathe.
Mm.
Mm.
Um, I mean, my babies,
Yes.
and then so it took my breath away many, many, many times. And when I allowed myself to go there, because in order for you to serve that amount of time, there's pieces and parts of you that have to go away. They have to pass on, or be on temporary hold until you complete this. And one of those things for me was to ask the ask the Lord to put my babies in His hand, and cover them up and just protect them, because the time was doing me when I was worried about them. um, but I needed to pay attention, keep my head on a swivel where I was. And so that part, I had to just give back to God and just focus on
Yes.
surviving here. And so I had to adapt to prison life, but still hold on to that little girl that was inside of me who wanted to be a lawyer because she was smart and who wanted to play the violin in the orchestra. She was always
Oh
there,
wow.
even when I was going through the stuff that I was going through before I even grew up. She was always there, and so she's still here. And how to make sure that that never went away and
Yes.
survive that time. Yeah.
Yes. When you got sentenced, what did anyone step in and say, I have your kids? Did you have that, you know?
My godmom had my kids.
Okay, good. Good.
My godmom had she had my kids. She had my kids for it wasn't long that she had them when I went away, when I went to jail. Um, and I regret this moment right now so bad because
It's
my
okay.
godmom is white, and so my mom, when I was in jail, trying to, my mind was, it was so much going on. I had
Yeah.
witnessed something so traumatic,
Yes.
and then from there, um, it's so much in between there. Like I was the weakest link because I was crying. I ain't never been
Mm,
part of nothing like this, and so I'm the weakest link because I'm crying uncontrollably, and I was going through so much, and being in jail, and having officers come to the cell, to the thing to call me up there so they could see it because I a year before then I was in the same class with them trying to be a corrections officer.
oh
And
wow.
yeah, all of
Wow.
that,
Mm.
um all of that, and here I am missing my kids, and so all of this stuff, all just one big ball of just bad energy. And my mom says, oh well, you shouldn't be letting her have them kids is black and blah blah blah. But I knew that she was better for them. I knew that she would be, but she wouldn't stop and just kept on and kept on and kept on. I just didn't want to deal with that. Just get them,
Yes.
just get
Yes.
them and do a better job with them than what you did with us.
Yes.
Use this as a second chance.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and that was the worst mistake I made outside of the decision to drive that car that night.
Mm.
Yes.
Was turning around and letting her get them, because our relationship now is just, I literally I have recently had to put them right back here in God's hand and ask Him to do this again for me for this next journey so that we all can walk in His purpose for our life.
That's
And
the
that's
best
so
thing to do.
important. Sometimes we have to let go and let God.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes
It's
we've
not
done all we
easy.
can do. It's not easy.
It's
It's
not
not
easy.
easy. And I'm sure your story is, I've heard your story, parts of it, and you got not a book, you got a screenplay. Okay. Because
Mhm.
it is riveting. I mean, it's something that, you had to go through so much, and we're only
Mhm.
on just the little bits of it.
Yeah.
But, when you really look at what you went through, and it's okay because you're in a safe environment here. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that your story is going to help so many other females out there, not only females, males, because there's
Yeah.
so much and
Parents.
you never expected this. But when you were in prison,
Mhm.
what was the turning point for you where you had to survive? As you mentioned, you had to survive. What was the turning point when you started getting motivated and you had to change your life in order to survive? What was that like? For instance, did you have to fight your way through? Did you know that God had his hand on you? And how did you view yourself because of incarceration?
Well, I look down on myself as a failure.
Wow.
Uh, I looked at myself as a failure. and at the same time, I knew that I was a survivor as well because of my upbringing.
Yes.
And I just prayed for, to have good health in order for me to survive it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you this, when I started to see myself differently is when the Lord came to save me in a prison canteen in 2008.
Tell me about that. Wow.
Yeah, I was a canteen operator. I worked all day and all night long. That's probably one of the hardest working jobs at the prison is a canteen operator. And I
Mm-hmm.
worked 7 days a week from all day to all night for $75 a month. And so I spent a lot of
Wow.
time in my canteen. And I'll never forget that I had my headset on because music helped me survive some of the most atrocious times. And I always had my Sony Walkman on. And I was in my store one day and they had just counted us, came to the store and counted. And Carrie Underwood came on, Jesus Take the Wheel. And
Mm.
next thing I knew, I was on my knees in that canteen with my hands up in the air and just crying to God, just crying, Jesus take the wheel, just
Mm.
take it. And that is when he allowed me to see that he loved me so much
Yes.
that
Yes.
my journey had to be different than other people's. Even though it was hard, it had to be different because I just had something to do. And I didn't even know any of that. I didn't know that I was so special that I had to go this journey, that there was something that only my life coming up would have prepared me for something so hard. And 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 as he was saving me and I got up and I did not grow up in church. I
Mm.
Most of my life I thought that God wasn't real because how hard my life was. And if he was real, he didn't see me. That was my experience. And when I got up, my words to him was, "My God, I cannot wait to get out of here." So I'm able to look back on my life in the last 10 years and say, "Oh my God, look at all you have brought me to after everything I have been through." I had no idea what I was
Mm.
saying. I told him, I
Mm.
said, "I can't wait to get out to go to all the churches and tell everybody how good you are." I couldn't even go to church in the prison because my canteen job required me to work every day and Sunday included. And I had to be there to run that store. So I didn't get to go to church, but church
Mm.
came to me. And I told, I can't wait to get out to go to all the churches and just tell you how good, tell people how good you are. I didn't grow up in church. And what happened when I came home?
Mm. 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 Mm.
I've spoken some of the biggest churches with 1,000 people in there.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome. When did you wind up going to school?
Uh, well, I
When you
completed
got out?
school. Yeah. So it took me a while now because let me here's some realness about being formerly incarcerated. When I came home, they told me that my ID badge, my prison ID, was going to be my driver's license, was just going to be my ID until I got some. So the two things that I said I was going to do when I got out, the state required me to go and check in, register with the county that I was going to be living in. So I did that, and my next move was going to the college that I used to go to prior
Mhm.
to incarceration. So when I got there, thinking that I was going to enroll in school, I was told that I would have to pay out of state fees if I wanted to go back to college, and which made no sense to me because I've always been in Florida. Why would I have to pay out of state fees? Because my prison ID was not a recognized form of identification residency. Even
What?
though I said you can pull me up on the Department of Corrections website and you can see where I've been. That is not an established proof of residency. So I could not go back to college when I came home. I had to go and get a driver's license. Then I had to wait for it to be good for a year. I needed to get a phone bill and have it be good for a year to prove residency. So it took me just that long to get into actual college. Yeah,
Wow.
but I did
So
go.
that's something, Lashana. After you have a Florida badge, I mean,
Yeah,
wow. And they could pull you up on the system.
yep,
They'll do anything to keep you down, and that's something. So you are now a paralegal.
I am.
All right. And
Yeah.
I read somewhere where you have gone all over trying to change some laws. You've been to
Yes,
Tallahassee. Where else
yes.
have you been?
I've been to Washington D.C. several times. I've all
Wow.
over the country. I've been in California. I've been from here to there to there. I've been all over, working with people in politics on ban the box policies so
Yes.
that people coming home from incarceration will be able to get the at least a job, because when you release people back into society and you say reentry,
Hmm.
and in the same tongue you say protect the community from people who have been incarcerated, but then you don't allow them to work. You don't allow them to rent. You don't allow them to go to school. You don't
That's right.
allow them true reentry. You're setting them up for recidivism. And keep in
Yes.
mind, prison is a business, so that's the goal. And while you're
Hmm.
telling people that we're doing these harsh laws that's going to lock up somebody who was in a car with somebody who shot somebody for the rest of their life to protect you. But then you have people that are getting out of prison each and every day who want to do different, who have learned their lessons,
Yes.
who just want to work half as hard as they worked in prison for free for a payout here and just get somewhere to stay, because prison is an experience that if you survive that, you'll never want to go back again. But there
Mhm.
are policies out here that are hidden from plain view, that are
Yeah.
holding people back from true second chances, and they are actually pushing people towards committing more crimes
Yes.
against the public.
Wow. It is something. I know we only have a few more minutes, but
Yeah,
getting rejected constantly, that I know is something that's hard to face. And you have to really be aware of that. You can't get this job because of this felony charge. You can't do this. You can't do that. How did you get over that rejection?
because I grew up in the environment that I grew up in, and I had to survive. So they closed the door and I went through a window. When I couldn't get a job at McDonald's or Burger King, I knew a real estate broker who, if I could just get a license, I could sell houses. And so
Okay.
that's what I did. Even when they told me they'll never give me a license, I didn't stop. I kept pushing. So life gave me lemons. I learned how to make lemonade,
Okay.
lemon
Oh.
chicken, lemon cookies, lemon cake. I can have a
Yes.
living cookbook right now, but you have got to know that you deserve more and you're not going to settle for anything less than just a fair shot. And when they tell you no, find another way. Don't let them set you up to go back in there, because I never wanted to go back in there ever again. I just wanted to be home with my kids initially, and now it's a bigger purpose because I know that our situation is not unique, and I know that I can help somebody, and I am here to do what the Lord has told me to do with the rest of my days here.
You
Mhm.
have such a powerful story. We just don't have time. This is only
Yep,
part one to your
we
story.
could come
So,
back again. Yeah,
yeah, oh, you definitely coming back. You also have a nonprofit organization helping similar
yes.
to what we do,
Well,
which
we
is
stopped.
interesting.
Yeah, we that was on hold. COVID came and shut that down, and then there was just some other things that also halted that. I needed to be healed.
Yes.
I came out running, fighting what I've always done all my life, running and fighting. And now I'm fighting this system. Now I'm fighting, my kids are rejecting me, and life is rejecting me and everything. And so I was just running until my daughter's words stopped me. cold, and then COVID, and everything else happened. And because she said to me, "How can you have an organization for children when I was a piece of crap?" And that hurt me bad.
Mm,
And then but I get it. That's my baby, and she hurt, and I get that, and I don't want to be the one that continue that hurts her or facilitates that. So I recently had to just give it back to God, her and the
yes,
babies. And so I need to get back on that, but I needed that time to heal, because I that's one thing I realized. I did not know that I needed to be healed. I didn't
yes.
know that I could be healed. I didn't know what
Wow.
healing looked like. And over the last course of years, that organization has been sitting where it is right now
Yes,
for me to be healed. So we can come back and we can be 1000%
yes, yes.
of a
I want.
resource to that community.
Ooh, it's just your story hits home. It's just so powerful. As we close, we have 2 minutes left. As we close, give me one sentence that defines you today. One sentence that defines you.
I can do all things through Christ who
What
strengthens me.
strengthens me. Hallelujah. Yes. That is so awesome. Part two, we want to air in October, and we're going to do that. This is part one because your story is so full, and we had to just break off these, pieces today just to let
Yes.
people
Yes.
know that, you know, God can touch you on the inside. That's
Mm-hmm.
where,
And he could
that's the only
and he
place they
could
allow God sometimes.
he can touch you wherever. He
Yes.
sure can.
So we thank you for your story, Lee. We have 1 minute. Would you like to say any closing remarks, Lee?
Oh, we just thank Lashana for being here with us this evening to give us those nuggets to start
Yes.
so that we can go into the other parts of it and stuff because your story is so rich and you're so
Yes.
wonderful. God has
Hmm.
done such great
Thank you.
things with you and
Hmm.
stuff, and
Thank
imparting
you.
that or giving that to other people is going to help so many people more than you can ever imagine.
Thank you. Thank you
So
so
thank
N-
you
much.
for
Thank y'all
being.
for having me here on this platform.
Thank you. What is one word of advice, just quickly, one word of advice you would give to the loved ones if they have somebody who's incarcerated?
Oh, be patient,
Be patient. Got you.
be understanding, and it's going to be ways that you're never going to understand. But in those times when you just don't understand and you can't understand because you have not experienced what they have went through, that they may not even be able to talk about it anymore because it was so horrific.
Yes.
Please just give grace and mercy. Don't let it break y'all apart.
Grace.
Yes. That is so awesome, and I love
Mhm.
that. That is just powerful for the caregivers because nobody knows the journey until you've traveled it. So,
That's
Lashana,
right.
we just thank God for you, and we thank God for Him allowing you to tell this part of your story because your story is going to help somebody else. So, we ask God to continue to bless you and motivate you on
Yes, thank
this
you, Lord.
life's journey. And in October, we are inviting you back. You're going to be our first show in October where we're going to
Okay.
have part two. Okay?
Okay. All right.
So
Absolutely.
we thank you all for being with us today. This is a journey like none other. That's why we call it the learning journey because we're
Mm-hmm.
all learning on this
Yes.
journey. And if your loved
Yes.
one is getting ready to be released, please be there for them. Coming back to society has its own challenges. They don't need to be rejected by their family. They need you to embrace them. And they're going to encounter enough rejection. So embrace them. And until we see you again, September is our month of rest. So we will not be here in September. Yes, ma'am.
And before we go, it is so important that my message is also for the person returning back to that family, that
Yes.
they all also have went through things, and they need to give that same grace and mercy and understanding
Yes.
so as not to fracture
Yes.
a something
Amen.
that could be a
That's perfect.
significant.
Yes. Well, until
Mm-hmm.
we see you again, that's excellent advice. We thank you again, our month of rest, and we will see you in October with Lashana again.
I will see
Thank you
y'all in
and God
October.
bless.
God bless you. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye for now.